Okay, this is chapter 12, part 2. I'm just not cut out for it physically, Jacob. Maya's voice had tears in it, but anger too. I looked over a little anxiously at her. If they were both angry, I didn't know who I should go to first. Should I comfort Maya? Should I move closer to Jacob and calm him down? Maybe I had missed something in the kitchen. I could go back in there. I'm not an ex-Marine like you, Maya told Jacob. I'm just a beat cop who can barely pass the physical every year. I've been trying, but it is just too hard. So we now have another clue about Jacob, that he was a Marine, so he used to be in the military. Too hard? Jacob glared at her until Maya shrugged and looked away. Her anger dissolved into shame. Jacob was still angry, but Maya was sad. That helped me decide what to do. I heaved myself up and went over to her, nuzzling her hand. What about how hard it would be on Ellie? Jacob asked. Doesn't that matter? Of course it matters. You're saying you're not willing to work? I could sense the hot tears inside Maya and how hard she was fighting them back. I shoved my nose under her hand again. She felt better when she petted me. I knew she did, and I felt better too. Maya smiled, even though the smile was wobbly at the corners. She ran her hand through the fur on my head. Oh, Ellie. She looked up at Jacob. Of course Ellie matters to me, Jacob. How can you even say that? It's her I'm thinking of. She deserves a handler who can keep up with her. I'm saying I'm not cut out for this. I don't have what it takes inside. What it takes? Inside? When Jacob spoke again, he wasn't looking at Maya, and his voice was quieter. When I was shot the first time, my shoulder was so messed up, I had to learn to use it all over again. I went to physical therapy every day, and there was this little 2-pound weight on a pulley, and that thing hurt. And my wife was in her final round of chemo. More than once I wanted to give up. It was too hard. Jacob turned his head and blinked at Maya. But Susan was dying, and she never gave up, not until the very end. And if she could keep going, I knew I had to, because it's important, because failure isn't an option if success is just a matter of more effort. That's a really powerful paragraph. Not only do we find out some more details about Jacob and his relationship with his wife Susan, and how that he'd been shot and his shoulder was ruined, but this is a powerful message about not giving up and working hard at things. The same old dark pain swirled around inside Jacob like a storm, and the anger inside him was gone, as if blown away by a gust of wind. I left Maya's side and came over to him, sitting at his feet, looking up into his face. I know it's difficult, Maya, he said, and his voice was rough. Try harder. Jacob sagged in his chair as if he was too tired to speak another word. And somehow I knew then that I wouldn't be staying with Jacob. He just wasn't interested in Find anymore. Sadness was flowing through Maya too, but she didn't seem tired the way Jacob did. She sat up straighter. She looked stronger. I remembered the strength in her that day. She took me running by the ocean, how she went farther than she thought she ever could. Okay, you're right, she told Jacob. Jacob came to the door with both of us and petted my head when we left. Goodbye, Maya. Goodbye, Ellie. You're a good girl, he told me. I licked his hand and smelled him one last time. The scent of his skin, his sweat, the dark pain that was inside of him, and the strength that was in him too. Then I walked out of the building with Maya. Jacob and Maya had decided my fate between them, and I was content. I was going to work, and I was going to do it with Maya. We were going to do it together. A little while after we left Jacob's apartment, Maya took me running up in the hills. We ran together. I kept my pace slow that she could keep up. After a while, I heard her gasp and then a thump as she fell. I came back quickly and put my nose in her face, smelling the salt of her sweat. Her knees were bleeding, and I smelled the salt there too, and the stinging pain. "Okay, Ellie," Maya said quietly, and pushed herself up again. "Okay, let's keep going." After that, we ran every day once we were finished with work. It was gloriously fun. There were so many things to smell, and since we weren't working, I could stop and sniff the traces left by other dogs. Trails from rabbits and squirrels and cats, scraps of food in the grass, fascinating bits of trash. Sometimes Maya even pulled ahead of me, and I'd dash after her to keep up. I loved it. The only part I didn't love was how full of pain Maya was when we'd finally get back to the car. One night, a few evenings after we'd been to see Jacob, she pulled into the driveway and simply sat there. I got up, balanced on the back seat, ready to jump out. It was dinner time. I was more than ready for something to eat. But Maya didn't move. I stuck my head into the front seat, near her face, to investigate. She put a hand forward to turn the key and make the car stop its annoying noise. But after that, she just sat still, sweat running down her face. I could tell she was tired, too tired to get out of the car. "I'm going to fail, Ellie," she said softly, not turning around to look at me. "I'm so sorry." I heard my name, but I couldn't tell what she wanted me to do. So I just waited as patiently as I could. I could see Emmett and Stella, those are the cats, both watching from the window. They probably didn't even know what a car was. They certainly never got to go running. But that was the way it should be. Dogs are superior animals. I know Maya liked her cats for some reason, but even she would have to admit they were useless. I couldn't even see Tinkerbell. Probably she'd heard the sound of the car and was cowering. Which means like hiding with fear, cowering under something. "Are you okay, Maya?" It was a soft voice, and it was Al's. The wind had been blowing away from me, so I hadn't smelled him coming. I put my head out the window so he could scratch my ears. "Oh, hi, Al." Maya seemed to wake up. She got out of the car, moving a little awkwardly, as if her legs were hurting her. "Yes, I was just thinking." "Oh, I saw you pull up your car." "Yes." "So I came over to see if you needed any help." There it was again, Al's favorite word. I turned my head so he could scratch behind my other ear. No, I was just running with the dog." Al opened the door for me, and I jumped out. I stared pointedly at Emmett and Stella so that they would notice I was outside and they were in. They looked away in disgust. "Okay," Al took a deep breath. "You've lost weight, Maya." "What?" Maya stared at him. Al seemed to shrink a little. "Oh, not that you were fat. I just noticed in your shorts your legs look so thin." A gust of misery flowed off of him, as if he'd been drenched in it, and he started to back away. "I should go," he said. I was sorry to see him leave. It meant no more ear scratching for a while. On the other hand, if he went away, Maya would probably go inside, and then we could have some dinner. "Thank you, Al. That was sweet," Maya said. He stopped backing up and stood a little straighter. I could smell his relief. "In my opinion, you don't need to exercise anymore," he said softly. "You are perfect the way you are." Maya laughed. Al laughed. I wagged my tail to show the cats inside on the windowsill that I understood the joke, and they didn't. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 12. We'll pick up on chapter 13 next week.